I was banned from Popeyes. That's right. You heard me. Me, Chris. You're not going to believe this story. This is crazy. Not only was there a huge scam involved, but now I'm being threatened with being arrested. Banned from Popeyes. Let's start at the beginning here. So, as you all know, Popeyes has a new menu item out called the Sweet and Spicy Wings. So one day Vito and I were going to be doing those. If you look back on our channel, we did a review on the, I believe it was the Wendy's English breakfast sandwich, English muffin breakfast sandwich or whatever. Anyways, that sucked. It was horrible. So we were so disappointed that on our way home, I was like, let's stop at Popeyes. Let's get the new wings. Let's review those. Hopefully we'll get a W out of this one and we'll have a good lunch too. Place the order on the app, go to Popeyes to pick it up. Go up to the door. Door's locked. Okay. See a bunch of cars in the drive-thru, so I was like, oh man. And there's people inside Popeyes. I see kids, somebody's kids, sitting at a table. I see workers in the back there. Okay, let's jump in the drive-thru. Behind about 4 cars, pull up. Cars are pulling out. And I was like, okay, so we pull up, roll down my window. Nobody answers. I'm like, hello? Hello? I've got a mobile order. It's already been paid for. Hello? Nobody. Wait 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Nobody. While I'm waiting there, I'm looking on the app trying to figure out, can I cancel this order? I did figure out how to cancel it, but I was kind of mad because it said that they would refund my money to my credit card in 5 to 7 business days. Yet here I am, sitting in line at this Popeyes. People are inside. My order's been placed. It's been accepted. What's going on? So that was a huge L. Went home, fuming, posted like a TikTok or something like that. You know, just saying, do better, Popeyes, because, you know, in the foodie game here, you know, you always end up at a restaurant where people just don't want to work, people don't care. Like I've always said, the food can be outstanding, but you are only as good as your worst restaurant franchise. Anyways, the next day, I posted a message on Twitter, same thing, do better, Popeyes, tagged them later on that day. I got a message from Popeyes saying, on Twitter, saying, hey, sorry, you know, we didn't do well. DM us your contact information. Now, normally, this is what happens when you're dealing with fast food restaurants. Social media team, get your contact information. They normally send you a gift card. I'm not interested in anything. I just want them to be better. As a few of you have messaged before, you can't get better without complaining, and I'm not the type of person who's gonna keep complaining to all ends of the earth. But anyways, I posted on Twitter, I sent a DM, my contact information, a little description of how I ordered with my order number and all that good stuff, right? Later that night, it was like on a Monday, I get a phone call. Hi Chris, this is you know, so-and-so from Popeyes, our social media team, have passed along your information, and we would like to make this right for you. I was like, listen guys, I just want you to be aware, I don't want anything from you. Oh, well, the manager of the restaurant wants to offer you and your family a free meal. I don't want a free meal, I said. I want you guys to be aware so this doesn't happen again. I don't know why. Someone was at the drive-thru and in the restaurant, you weren't, you know, answering it. What was going on? Was there like a rogue, you know, clerk running the place there? Who knows? Anyways, they insisted. They're like, the manager wants to meet with you and they want to offer you an apology in person. Can you go there and meet right now? I was like, well, it's like 7:30 at night. I was just getting ready to run up to Walmart to look for something else that I was going to review. So I was like, sure. I'll stop there on the way to Walmart. They're like, okay, what we'll do is we'll call you in a little bit. How long does it take you to get there? I was like, yeah, I can be there in less than 10 minutes. So I go up there, I pull into the parking lot, and the person from Popeyes calls back. Now, granted, this didn't sound exactly right to me. Like, why would they want me to go meet with a manager? I'm looking on my phone. Here, I'm going to include that in here. All these 877 numbers, I do a reverse lookup on this, right? And it goes back to Popeyes customer service. It's like, okay, this has got to be legit. So I'm in the parking lot. They call back again. They're like, oh yeah, the manager's in the office. Can you just go to the back door and knock on the back door? Someone will come out and get you, bring you to the manager's office. Like, you want me to go to the back door? And they're like, yeah, just go to the back door, knock on the back door, and someone will stay on the phone with you. I was like, okay. At this point, there was 2 people on the phone. It sounded like one person was in the restaurant, one person was maybe at corporate. I don't know. But anyways, I walk around to the back of the restaurant, and the door, I mean, it's a hot night. The door's propped open. So I was like, hey guys, the door is already open. They're like, well, the door shouldn't be open. It's against company policy. Anyways, just walk in. Just walk in. The manager's office is on the east side of the building. And I remember them saying this specifically, the east side of the building. I was like, are you sure? They're like, just walk in. The manager's on the east side of the building. I was like, okay, so I stick my head in, don't see anybody, so I kind of take a few steps in, and I see a gentleman who's in the back there, and I was like, hey, my name's Chris. I have shown my phone. I was like, I have Popeyes on the line, and they're saying they want me to meet with the manager in the manager's office. And he looked at me all funny. He's like, man, I don't know who you are. I was like, yeah, I get that. I'm Chris. I said, I got Popeyes on the phone. Can you go get the manager? He's like, hold on. So a lady comes back, and she's like, who are you? And I said, my name is Chris. I have Popeyes on the phone, and they said they were setting up a meeting for me to talk to the manager. And she's like, I don't know who you are. And I was like, well, here, I'm talking to them on the phone. I was like, they're saying they don't know who I am. And they're like, on the phone, they're like, let me talk to the manager. So I hand her the phone, and she's talking, and she's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who this guy is. I don't care about his followers. I don't care about anything. And then she hands me back the phone. She goes, you can deal with the police. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? I put the phone back up to my ear, and the person's laughing. At this point, I knew I'd been scammed. So now my heart goes from here down here, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm an apologist. I'm like, listen, guys, my name is Chris. I do a YouTube channel. You know, I'm trying to explain. This is the reason why I placed an order yesterday. I made a complaint. They called me. This they didn't want to hear. All they knew was some strange dude, me, walked in their back door, and they were freaked out. Now, granted, yeah, I probably shouldn't have walked in the back door. And I thought about it. And I was like, why do they want me to walk in the back door? But when you have someone on the phone leading you in, and I was like, hey, hi, I saw the first person. They didn't tell me to get out. I thought this was what I was supposed to do. If I was on the other side of that too, I would probably be pretty freaked out too, I guess. I don't know. Do I look like I'm someone who would do something bad? I don't know. So anyways, here we go. They're going to call the police. I was like, that's great. I would love to explain this to the police. This is a huge misunderstanding. Apparently, I have been scammed. So I waited and waited and waited, and the police never came. So I walked out to the parking lot. I got on the phone, I called my wife, and she's like, where have you been? And I'm going through the whole story. She's like, man, why don't you just call the police yourself? Because it sounds like they didn't even call them. So it's like, okay. So I get on the phone with the police, call the non-emergency number. I get a dispatcher, and I explain what's going on. And the lady on the phone's like, are you the guy who walked in the back door of a Popeyes? Like, yes. She's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, just give me your name and phone number, and an officer will call you if they want to talk to you. Just go home. I was like, okay. So I was like, oh, this is just a nightmare. At this point, I think I'd been in the restaurant for like an hour now, dealing with this whole situation. So anyways, I go home, and about 15 to 20 minutes later, I get another call, which is from the dispatcher at the police station. And she's like, yes, the officer would like to meet with you. Can he come to your house? And I was like, yeah, sure. Here's my address. Have him come over. Okay, he'll be over. Now, granted, I live in a different town than the Popeyes, so I don't know if they can cross over to different cities. I don't know. Anyways, 5 more minutes goes by, and the dispatcher calls me back again, and she is like, well, the officer would like you to meet him at the bank parking lot next to Popeyes. And I'm like, man, I've already been scammed once today. Am I getting scammed again? So it's like, yeah, sure. I'll meet the officer up there. So I tell my wife where I'm going. She's like, do you want me to come with you? I was like, no, don't worry. I said, I'm going to drive by the bank. I'm going to do a drive-by. If I see a police car there, then I will turn around and I'll go in and I'll talk to them. So I jumped in my car, went over to the bank, drove by. Sure enough, there was a police car sitting there. So I was like, oh, good. So I do a turnaround in an apartment complex. I go back to Popeyes and I pull up. I get out of my car. Hi, officer. Hi, my name is Chris. I'm the guy who walked in the back door. He's like, oh, so what happened? So the story I just told you, I gave him an abbreviated version of that. He's like, yeah, I get it. There are scammers out there, but here's the thing. How elaborate of a scam does this have to be to somehow get my contact information, lead me into a Popeyes, and what are you getting out of this? I still don't understand. I don't know. Anyways, the police officer is just shaking his head. Yup, yeah, I get it. He was a really nice guy. He's just out there doing his job. And then he says, so she wants you gone, and now I am trespassing you. And if you step foot in this parking lot again, you will be arrested. And I'm like, really? Like, I'm a 52-year-old man. I've never been in trouble in my life. And I'm scammed, and now I'm being trespassed? The guy, I know the police officer. I respect police officers a lot, and he was just doing his job, and she wanted me gone. I don't know what's going on here. So I was like, are you gonna notify me through mail or anything? So here's the thing. At no point did anybody check my ID or anything. So verbally he trespassed me. He said, this will be in the police report, and if you come back here. Now, granted, this area where Popeyes is, there's a Burger King and a McDonald's all in the same complex there. So I told him, I was like, so I can't go to Burger King or McDonald's either? And he's like, you can go to Burger King, McDonald's, just stay away from Popeyes. I was like, okay. So at this point in time, I have opened a case with Popeyes. I have a case number. They have not replied to me, which is why I'm making this video. This has happened over 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago? I have to look at my phone records. But anyways, Popeyes, I know you guys I know that restaurants are franchises, and you probably don't have any control over the franchises. But I want this trespass lifted, bottom line. And the police even said that. They're like, in order to get the trespass lifted, you need to talk to corporate. And corporate is going to have to lift it. But here's I'm confused. I am so confused. I'm frustrated. And at this point in time, I don't care about Popeyes anymore. I don't. I have never given Popeyes a bad review. In fact, Popeyes chicken sandwich has always been the bar when we do any type of chicken sandwich review. But the Popeyes near me, I am no longer allowed to be there with the threat of being arrested. Tell me what you guys think. Please. Is this trespass? First off, Michigan. I'm in the state of Michigan. What is the trespass law in Michigan? I didn't willfully go in the back door looking to get in, break a law. So that's one. Number two, Popeyes, contact me. I want to resolve this. I have a case number, but I don't know. What do you guys think? I can't wait to hear your comments.